Good morning, welcome back to Chassidus Before Coffee. Today we're going to continue on in the Mamar. We're going to get a little esoteric, a little Kabbalistic, so it's going to get a little exciting. I'm not going to go necessarily to all the details to explain them, so we'll see where it goes. Okay, here we go. So yesterday we left off, we had some questions on the blessing that was given to Yehuda by Yaccov, Judah to Yaccov, from Yaccov to Yehuda, and he says, Yehuda yeducha achecha, yadcha be'erevecha, your Yehuda, your brothers will acknowledge you, and your hands will be on the nape of your enemies. So we asked two questions, and then we started to explain it about the first part of that, saying that the Chiddush, what's unique about your brothers will acknowledge you, is that the older brothers will acknowledge him, obviously not so much that the younger brothers will acknowledge him. Mashkasov Yehuda Ata, this that it says Yehuda Ata. We said that the word Ata is superfluous, and why do we say Ata, which means you? Why do we say Yehuda, you, and then continue on? It's unnecessary. So the Rebbe in this Mamar is going to explain the word Ata according to the Zohar, according to Kabalah, and the meaning, and ultimately we'll tie it in. But here we're going to explain the word Ata. So it says in the Zohar, there's three places where it's called Ata. It explains that there's three levels of Ata, you. When it uses the word Ata, there's three levels. One is, it's a reference to Malchut, kingship. Another reference it has is to Chesed, kindness. And these are the spheros, these are the emanations, the different attributes, emanations from on high. And the Chochma and wisdom. Now, to understand more of this, the Alter Rebbe and Tanya introduces the spheros, and there could be a larger discussion on these 10 attributes, that the 10 spheros. Essentially, everything has 10 spheros in it: holiness, the unholy, the higher worlds, the lower worlds. There's everything. There's this idea of 10, and their expressions. Their expressions of wisdom, kindness, severity, etc. So, out of those 10, 3 of them are referred to as Ata in different instances. On Chochma, it's written, Ki Ata Avinu, because you are our father. So we see Ata, here's one, here it says, Ki Ata Avinu, you are our father. It says about Chochma, wisdom. With regard to the attribute of chesed, of kindness, it says, Ata kain le'olam. It's taking from a verse. You are a priest forever. With spheres hamachos zikreis Ata, and we also see that the sphere, the attribute of kingship, is also referred to as Ata. K'hamshech hakasav Ata geimer, as it continues in the pasuk, I guess Ata yeducha achecha, this one. Or Al Dibrasi Malchi, Al Dibrasi Malchi. It refers to as Malchi as kingship. So you have 3 different times where Ata is used to express Kayin. A Kayin is Isha Chesed, man of kindness. So we see Chesed is connected to kindness. And then Ata Avinu of the father of all the spheros is Chachma, wisdom. Father also from his brain is where child comes. So there's this connection between those different verses and the terminology of Ata. Okay. V'zeu gam hashkasav Kan Yehuda Ata. This is also connected to what it says over here, that Yehuda Ata. The Yehuda koy al sir samachos. The Yehuda we know he represents the attribute of kingship, right? We know that King David comes from Yehuda. She has Sfira Achrayna, which he is the last. What is kingship, is the last of all the spheres. You have kindness, you have 10, right? And number 10 is kingship. As it states in the pasuk, it references it by saying "Vatami miladus," and she stopped having children. It's a reference to Leah, but it's used over here to explain how it's number 10, the last one. And this idea is explained. Now, the Alter Rebbe has a siddur. It's called Chassidus and Dach, and there's different words for it, but the Alter Rebbe siddur. And over there, the Alter Rebbe has Maimarim, discourses, that explain different parts of davening according to Chassidus, according to Kabalah. And over there, he explains the Baruch Sha'amar in the prayers as we're going through the siddur. Our daily prayers, Baruch Shamar is one of the first ones. It's like the opening gate of prayer, essentially. It's the beginning. And over there he explains, Hafresh Bein Ata Lahu. He explains the difference between Ata, you, Lahu, is to hit, Lahu is to him, he. What's the difference in those two words? They both reference a person, right? Or someone, right? So what's the difference in them? Shehu Meira Amishahu Nistar V'Nelam. When you say who, it's an expression that expresses the idea that something is concealed, and we don't know what is its essence in any revealed way. Who? He did it. Who's he? I don't know who he is, right? So it expresses that idea of revelation, a lack of revelation, but a reference to someone, but a lack of revelation of what is that? Who? Masha'ekin Ata, on the other hand, the word Ata, when you say for someone, Ata, you, it's a reference of revelation, right? You did it. V'lachein, and therefore, Tevas Ata, the word Ata, therefore, when we say, so now back to Kabbalistic understanding, or the Chassidic understanding, when we say Ata, it is an expression of revelation. It means revelation. It means that something's revealed. And in the revelation, so these different levels, so spheres Malchut, so these three levels that we just explained, Chochma, Chesed, and Malchut, they're all concepts of revelation. They're all meaning of revelation. Because they're called Ata. So when we say Ata, that's what it means, revelation. Spheres HaMalchus, Nikreis Ata. Spheres HaMalchus, we said Malchus, kingship, is called Ata. She'inyanehu Hamshacha V'Agil B'Viyah. Why? Because what does Malchus do? Malchus is a transitional leader. So some background. There are 4 basic worlds, general worlds. And within those general worlds, there's thousands and millions and gazillions of other levels. But there are 4 basic levels. Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. For each one of them, there's a transition and a contraction of light and emanation that happens in order for the ability for that next world to be created and it to come into existence. Because if not for that, the godly energy would be too great and there would not be able to be a lower, more concealed level below it, essentially. These worlds, the 3 main ones under Atzilus is the main one. It's much more, it's godliness itself. You have Bia, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. Bria is creation, Yetzirah is formation, and Asiya is action. We live in the Asiya Gashmi, in the physical emanation of Asiya, of action. We're in a world of action, which is the most concealed form of godliness. So, Malchus is the sphera, how the energy goes and transitions from one level to the next, from one world to the next. what is Malchus in the previous level becomes what's known as Keser, the crown of the next world, which then creates the emanation of Chochma, Bina, Das, all those 10 spheros, as we explained. Again, ending with Malchus. So Malchus is the lowest, but it's also the encompassment of, if there's such a word, of encompassment. It encompasses all the other sephirot and allows for creation and development and further development of the world. So that's what happens. So it's the idea of revelation, right? It reveals into the next world. And more so, not only that, the revelation of all the other attributes. Again, similar to a king. What's a king? A king is a nobody without everyone else, but he's everything. Once he is with everyone else, once he represents everyone, he's also everything. That's his power. His power is everything. So he has everything and nothing at the same time, because he's with nothing if not for the people, but he's everything because of the people, and that makes him everything as well. So the Malchus, the spheres of Malchus, the kingship, a king, he reveals everyone's potential. Malchus is revealing everything. How great you are, how kind you are, how severe things are, how esoteric, how foundational things are, how splendor, how splendorous, right? You see by a king how splendorous things are. All these things come into revelation through Malchus, through the king. So everything comes to revelation through the kingship, and also this refers also in the soul, in every person and every person individually. You have this same idea. Kingship, the level of kingship that's within every single person, is what reveals to another person. It's what brings your character to revelation to someone else. And also revelation that's in all the attributes, the Chochma, all the 10. It's within each one. It's the Malchus aspect, which is revelation. And this brings us to another concept, which is that every single one of the 10 is really inclusive of the 10. And this we see when we say the Sfira Omer. Sfira Omer, we say Chesed Sheva Chesed, the kindness within kindness, etc. We go through all of them, because each one is really 10 of 10, which actually equals 100, which equals a Keser, crown, which is 100. So there's this whole idea that each one has within it the 10 attributes. Each one, Chesed, has the 10 in it. Chochma has the 10 in it. So what is the part that reveals within the 10? It's the Malchus. The attribute, the sphera of the emanation of Malchus is called Knesset Yisrael, the body of the Jews, the representation of the Jews, Knesset Yisrael, the congregation of the Jewish people. Why? Because what does Knesset Yisrael do? It gathers and adds within it all the revelations that are from above it. It gathers it all in. And the drawing down and the revelation of all the ideas that are in Malchus, that are in kingship, how does it come through Malchus? Chesed is the thing that makes it turn. Forgive me for my lack of Aramaic prowess, but I think it's called the day that goes with all the other days, with all the other days. Because through Chesed, through the sphere of Chesed, kindness, it draws down, it pushes forward the whole revelation of kingship. So too Chochma, which again, both of the Chesed and Chochma we said are called Ata. So he's just showing how those two are part of the system of revelation. Malchus is the ultimate revealer, but it's the Chesed that's part of the part of the mechanisms, and that's why they're all called Gilui. They're all called Ata. So too the Chochma, Shireshis Hagilui, Chochma, which is the beginning, the first part of revelation. Hein ba'adam shnikra olam katan, both in the person individually, which is called a small world. Every person is called a small world. Ve'hein ba'olam gadol, and also in the overall world. Ve'chein gam l'mayla, and also above. Chochma is the first part of revelation. That's where it all starts. Without Chochma, you don't get to Malchus. Without Chesed, you also don't get to Malchus. And without Chochma, you don't get to Chesed either. So each one of these is steps in the process of revelation. And we just explained how Malchus is, and Yehuda, we said, is the idea and concept of Malchus, ultimately. And that's what allows for creation of further worlds and further aspects. But you need the Chesed and Gvura and Chesed and Chochma, which are also, and that is Ata. So here we'll stop for today. This is a basis for us to help us understand this verse. And God willing, we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.